In the heart of the city stood a mansion so grand that people believed happiness must live inside it, a towering symbol of success owned by billionaire Richard Hale, a man who had built his empire from nothing and controlled markets with calm authority. Yet behind those polished walls lived a pain no amount of money could silence, his 7-year-old son Oliver, a child who had slowly faded from the world after the sudden death of his mother, Evelyn, 2 years earlier, a death labeled natural, but followed by a change in Oliver so severe that doctors, therapists, and specialists all failed to explain it, because Oliver did not behave like a grieving child, he behaved like a hunted one, waking every single night at the same hour screaming until his voice broke, refusing to eat unless forced, flinching at touch, staring into corners of rooms as if someone unseen waited there. And despite Richard hiring the best help money could buy, 7 nannies came and went, each confident on arrival, each leaving defeated, some claiming the boy was unstable, others quietly quitting without explanation. And with every failure Richard's guilt grew heavier, because he knew the truth he never admitted out loud, that while his son was losing his mother, he was losing his father to boardrooms and business flights, and now the house felt cursed by silence, staff walked on tiptoe, laughter had vanished, and hope became something dangerous to believe in, until one morning a new maid arrived. A woman named Sophia, hired not to care for the child but simply to clean and assist, someone with no impressive resume, no degrees, no authority, just a calm presence and eyes that noticed details others ignored, and from her very first day she sensed something was deeply wrong, not with the child, but with the house itself, because Oliver's fear followed a pattern, his breathing changed when the lights dimmed, his hands trembled when footsteps echoed at night, his eyes darted toward the hallway mirror whenever the old grandfather clock ticked louder. And unlike the nannies who tried discipline, routines, or therapy exercises, Sophia did something simple. She sat quietly nearby, never forcing conversation, never demanding progress, just existing calmly in the same space. And slowly Oliver began watching her, not speaking, not smiling, but watching with desperate attention, as if trying to decide whether she was safe. And one evening, when Sophia was adjusting the curtains, Oliver whispered something so soft it nearly vanished into the air. She comes when everyone sleeps, words that sent a chill through Sophia's spine, because fear like that was learned, not imagined, and that night instead of following instructions to leave the child alone after bedtime, Sophia trusted her instincts and stayed hidden near Oliver's room, listening to the house settle into silence, counting her breaths as the clock hands moved closer to the hour Oliver always woke screaming, and at exactly 2:03 a.m., the door opened quietly, revealing not a ghost, not a shadow, but the night caregiver, Margaret, a woman trusted by Richard, present since Evelyn's death, respected by staff, and the moment Margaret believed she was alone, her face hardened, her voice turned cruel, gripping Oliver's arm and hissing threats about being quiet, blaming him for crying, whispering that his mother died because he was too difficult, words that shattered a child's soul night after night. And Sophia stood frozen, heart pounding, witnessing the truth that explained everything, the nightmares, the silence, the fear, the failed nannies, because no one had stayed long enough, watched closely enough, or questioned deeply enough to see what was happening in the dark. And with shaking hands Sophia recorded everything, knowing she was risking her job, her safety, but unable to walk away, because some moments demand courage more than permission. And when morning came Sophia stood before Richard Hale, a man who commanded billions yet now looked painfully small, and played the recording, and as Oliver's sobs echoed through the room, Richard collapsed into his chair, breaking in a way no business loss had ever broken him, because in that moment he understood the truth, that his son had not been unreachable, he had been silenced by terror under his own roof, and within hours the police were called, Margaret was arrested, and investigations reopened surrounding Evelyn's final days, truths long buried under trust and assumptions. But justice did not instantly heal Oliver. Healing came slowly, through safety, patience, and the quiet presence of someone who truly saw him. And Sophia stayed, no longer just a maid, but a protector, sitting by Oliver every night until sleep came peacefully, teaching him that the dark no longer held danger. And weeks later Oliver laughed for the first time in years. Months later he slept through the night, and one afternoon he looked at his father and said softly, "I'm not scared anymore," words that rebuilt Richard from the inside out. And standing in that once silent mansion now filled with light, Richard understood a lesson wealth had never taught him, that titles don't make heroes, attention does, that expertise can fail while compassion saves lives. And as this story reaches you, remember this: sometimes the person who changes everything is the one no one expects, the one who notices what others overlook. So if this story moved you, if it reminded you to look deeper and care harder, subscribe to this channel, because more powerful, emotional stories like this are coming, stories that don't just entertain, but remind us what humanity truly means.